Welcome, everyone. Let me tell you something that might feel uncomfortable, but I promise it is also the beginning of something better. You already know what you need to do. You know the habits that would change your life. You know the work that needs to be done. You know the choices that would make you healthier, stronger, more productive, more at peace. You know. You have always known. And yet, most days, you do not do it. Not because you are lazy, not because you lack intelligence or ambition or desire, but because knowing and doing are separated by the one bridge most people never learn to build: daily discipline. Not the dramatic, explosive motivation you feel after watching an inspiring video, not the fierce determination of January the 1st, not the version of yourself that shows up when the stakes are highest and the energy is fullest, but the quiet, unsexy, daily decision to do the work even when you do not feel like it, especially then. That is what this story is about. Not motivation, discipline. The difference between a life imagined and a life built. In the next 30 minutes, I will show you exactly what discipline is, how it works in the brain, and, most importantly, how to build it, starting with the smallest possible action tomorrow morning. Please stay until the very end, because the final chapter holds the truth that makes all the earlier ones click into place. This is not a story about suffering for your goals. It is not about waking up at 4 in the morning or punishing yourself into productivity. It is not about being harder on yourself. In fact, what the research on self-discipline actually shows is almost the opposite of what most people believe. We will move through 8 chapters today, from understanding why motivation always fails you, to building the systems, habits, and identity that make discipline feel less like struggle and more like simply who you are. You will learn the science of habit formation, the 2-minute rule that breaks through resistance every time, the discipline equation that separates people who achieve from people who only intend to, and the Daily Forge formula, a complete system for building the disciplined life you actually want. And if you care about finally closing the gap between who you are and who you know you can be, subscribe to our channel right now, because we bring you the most honest, most deeply human English stories about the life you are capable of living. Now, let us begin to build. Chapter 1: Why Motivation Always Runs Out. Let me tell you about 2 people who both wanted to get fit. The first is Marcus. Marcus watches a documentary about health one evening and feels something shift inside him. He is inspired. He is on fire. He sets his alarm for 6 a.m. He buys new trainers. He tells his friends. For 2 weeks, he goes to the gym every single day. He feels incredible. He feels like a new person. Then, one Thursday, he wakes up tired. He does not feel inspired anymore. He skips one day. Just this once, he tells himself. 1 day becomes 3. 3 becomes a week. The trainers gather dust. He is back where he started. The second is Priya. Priya also decides to get fit, but she decides differently. She does not wait to feel inspired. She does not buy new equipment or tell anyone. She simply decides every morning, before anything else, she will put on her shoes and walk for 20 minutes. Some mornings she feels motivated. Many mornings she does not. It does not matter. She puts on her shoes. After 3 months, she runs her first 5K. The difference between Marcus and Priya is not talent, willpower, or time. It is this. Marcus was waiting for motivation. Priya was building discipline. And here is the fundamental truth about motivation. Motivation is an emotion, and like all emotions, it rises, it peaks, and it falls. You cannot schedule an emotion. You cannot demand it on the days it does not come. Discipline is different. Discipline is a system, a structure, a decision made once that removes the need to decide again every morning. Motivation asks, do I feel like it today? Discipline says, it does not matter. I do it anyway. That shift from feeling-based action to system-based action is the first and most important step toward a disciplined life. You are not undisciplined. You have simply been depending on the wrong fuel. Chapter 2. The 2-minute rule. The most dangerous moment in any habit is not the middle. It is the beginning. The moment before you sit down to write, the moment before you open your running shoes, the moment before you begin the task you have been avoiding. That moment, the transition from not doing to doing, is where resistance lives. And resistance is almost always stronger than motivation. The 2-minute rule defeats resistance by making the start so small that it cannot be refused. The rule is this: any habit, any task, any practice, begin with a version that takes only 2 minutes. Want to read more? The habit is open the book. Want to exercise? The habit is put on your shoes and stand up. Want to write? The habit is open the notebook and write 1 sentence. Want to meditate? The habit is sit down and close your eyes. 2 minutes. That is the entire commitment. Now here is the secret. Once you have started, you will almost always continue, because momentum once created carries itself. The hardest part of any task is starting it. Once you have started, the brain shifts into a doing state, and doing feels far better than not doing. The 2-minute rule is not about doing less. It is about making the beginning impossible to refuse so that the rest can follow naturally. Practice this tomorrow morning with 1 habit you have been avoiding. Do not commit to the full habit. Commit only to the first 2 minutes. The rest will take care of itself. Chapter 3. Environment Design. There is a study that many people find both surprising and liberating. Researchers followed 2 groups of people who wanted to eat more healthily. The first group tried harder to resist unhealthy food. They relied on willpower, on mental effort, on saying no. The second group changed their environment. They moved fruit to the front of the refrigerator. They placed healthy snacks on the kitchen counter. They put unhealthy food in harder-to-reach places, higher shelves, less visible spots. 6 months later, the second group ate far more healthily, not because they had more willpower, but because they did not need it. The environment made the right choice easier than the wrong one. This is environment design, and it is one of the most powerful tools of self-discipline because it reduces the need for willpower almost entirely. Willpower is a limited resource. It drains through the day with every decision, every resistance, every push. By evening, most people have very little left. Environment design means you use willpower once to set up the environment, and then the environment does the work for you every day after. Here is your exercise. Choose one habit you want to build. Now ask, what would make this habit unavoidable? What change to my physical environment would make the right choice the easiest choice? Put your running shoes by the door. Place your book on your pillow. Leave your journal open on your desk. Put your phone in another room before bed. Design your space for the person you are becoming, and that person will appear, almost without effort, every single day. We have laid the foundation, and I hope something in these first 3 chapters has already shifted the way you see discipline, from a test of character into a matter of design. Before we go deeper, please take 1 second to like this video and leave a comment below. Which technique are you most excited to try first? The 2-minute rule? Environment design? Or are you waiting for the full formula? Your comment tells me what is reaching people most, and it helps this story find the people who need it. Now, the next chapters go deeper into the psychology of discipline, into the obstacles that break it, and the specific tools that make it last. Chapter 4. The discipline equation. Most people think discipline is about doing more. More effort, more hours, more sacrifice. But the most disciplined people I have ever heard of are not the ones who work the longest or push the hardest. They are the ones who have solved a very specific equation. Clarity plus systems plus identity. Let me explain each one. Clarity. Undisciplined people are often not lazy. They are unclear. They want to be better, but better at what exactly? They want to work harder. On which task, at which time? Vague intentions produce vague results. Disciplined people are specific. They know exactly what they're building, why, and when. I will write 500 words every morning before 8 a.m. I will walk for 20 minutes every day after lunch. Clarity removes the need to decide. Decision fatigue disappears. The action simply becomes the scheduled thing. Systems. Goals tell you where you want to go. Systems are how you get there, every day, regardless of feeling. A goal is, I want to finish a book. A system is, I read 10 pages every night before sleep. A goal without a system still moves you forward. Identity. This is the deepest level, and we will return to it in Chapter 8. But the short version is this. Disciplined people do not try to build discipline. They become the kind of person for whom the habit is natural. I am a writer, not I am trying to write more. I am someone who moves their body every day, not I am trying to exercise more. Clarity, systems, identity. When all 3 are in place, discipline stops being something you do. It becomes something you are. Chapter 5. Handling the broken chain. There is a well-known technique for building habits called "Don't break the chain." You mark an X on a calendar every day you complete a habit. The growing line of X's becomes motivating in itself. You do not want to break the chain. It works well, until the day the chain breaks. And it always breaks. Life interrupts. You get sick. You travel. Someone needs you. Something goes wrong. Or, sometimes, you simply do not show up. And for most people, A broken chain becomes an ending. I missed 3 days. What is the point now? I have already failed. I might as well stop. Researchers in behavioral psychology call this the "what the hell" effect. One lapse becomes permission to abandon everything. The most disciplined people in the world do not avoid missing days. They simply follow one rule when they miss. Never miss twice. 1 missed day is an accident. 2 missed days is the beginning of a new habit, the habit of not showing up. When you miss, you do not punish yourself. You do not replay the failure or call yourself undisciplined. You simply say, calmly, "Yesterday I missed. Today I return." And you return. Without drama, without a grand recommitment ceremony, without telling anyone. You simply begin again as if the missing day never happened. Because in the long arc of a disciplined life, 1 missed day means almost nothing. What matters is not the streak. What matters is the pattern. And the pattern is you always come back. Chapter 6. The Discomfort Practice. At the core of every discipline challenge is a single moment of discomfort. The moment the alarm rings and the bed is warm. The moment the blank page waits and the mind wants to wander. The moment you could eat the easy thing instead of the good thing. That moment of discomfort, that small, bearable friction, is the gateway. On one side is the person you were. On the other side is the person you are becoming. Most people treat discomfort as a signal to stop. Disciplined people treat it as a signal to begin. Here is the discomfort practice. Once a day, deliberately choose a small discomfort, not dramatic suffering, a small, manageable friction. Take a cold shower or end a warm one with 30 seconds of cold. Sit quietly without your phone for 10 minutes. Do the task you have been postponing first before anything enjoyable. Say no to one thing today that you would normally say yes to out of comfort. The purpose is not the specific discomfort. The purpose is to train your nervous system to understand that discomfort is survivable, that it does not mean stop, that you can feel resistance and move through it anyway. Every time you do, you build what psychologists call distress tolerance, the ability to stay in the difficult moment without running from it. And distress tolerance is, in many ways, the single most important skill a disciplined person possesses. 1 small discomfort per day, chosen deliberately, completed calmly. That is the practice. Chapter 7. The Forge Formula. Now let us bring every tool together into one complete daily system for discipline. A system you can begin tomorrow, a formula you can carry for the rest of your life. I call it the Forge Formula, because discipline is not found, it is forged, built through heat and repetition and time. Focus on one thing first. Each morning, before email, before news, before the noise of the day, identify your one most important task, the one thing that if done today would matter most. Write it down. Commit to it before anything else. Clarity at the start of the day is the foundation of everything. Oh, 1 step only. Use the 2-minute rule. Do not ask yourself to do the whole thing. Ask yourself to begin. 2 minutes, 1 step, 1 foot forward. The momentum will carry you the rest of the way. R. Remove the obstacles. Spend 5 minutes each evening designing tomorrow's environment. Put out what you need, put away what distracts. Make the right choice the easiest choice. G. Guard against the broken chain. Track your one daily discipline habit, a simple mark in a notebook, an X on a calendar. And on the days you miss, you do not panic. You follow one rule: never miss twice. You simply return, quietly, without ceremony. E. Embrace one discomfort. Every day, one small chosen discomfort, not suffering, not punishment, the daily training of your ability to move through resistance. One friction, completed calmly, a signal to your brain that discomfort never has the final word. Focus, one step, remove obstacles, guard the chain, embrace discomfort. Forge. Forge. Not in a single day, not in a dramatic moment, but in the quiet accumulation of daily repeated unremarkable action over weeks, months, years, until the life you imagined becomes simply the life you live. Chapter 8. The Identity of a Disciplined Person. There is a story about a sculptor, a woman named Ilara. People would come to her studio and watch her work. They were always impressed by her patience, the long, slow daily hours of chipping and shaping, the willingness to return day after day to the same stone. One day, a visitor asked her, "Does it not tire you, all this repetition, all this discipline? How do you make yourself come back every single day?" Ilara looked at him with genuine confusion. She said, "I do not make myself. I am a sculptor. Sculptors come to the stone. This is simply what I do." The visitor left thoughtful. He had spent years trying to force himself to write, to exercise, to build the habits he admired in others. He had been fighting himself every morning, and he understood, walking away from Ilara's studio, why it always felt like a fight. Because he was not yet the person for whom those habits were natural. He was trying to act like that person before he had decided to become them. Identity comes before behavior, or rather, identity and behavior shape each other. Every time you act in alignment with the disciplined person you want to be, you cast a vote for that identity. Not a single dramatic vote, a small, quiet one. One vote, one day, one action. Do this enough, and the identity forms, not because you decided it all at once, but because you built it, vote by vote, day by day. You are not a person who is trying to be more disciplined. You are a disciplined person who is still being forged. There is a difference, and from this moment you know which one you are. You have just completed one of the most honest, most complete, most deeply human stories about the power of daily discipline ever created for an English learning audience. You did not just hear some productivity tips. You discovered the real reason motivation always runs out, and why discipline is a system, not a feeling. You learned the 2-minute rule that defeats resistance at its source, the power of environment design to make discipline automatic, the discipline equation, clarity, systems, identity, the never miss twice rule that turns failure into a reset, the discomfort practice that builds your tolerance for hard things, and the Forge formula, your complete daily system for building a disciplined life, one small action at a time. You are not someone who lacks discipline. You are someone who was using the wrong approach, and now you have the right one. You are not a person who is trying to change. You are a disciplined person being forged right now in the daily repetition of who you choose to become. If this story helped you, even 1%, please subscribe to our channel right now. We are building a community of English learners who believe that the greatest things in life are not given by inspiration, they are built by discipline, daily, quietly, powerfully. Save this video, return to it on the mornings when you want to quit. Use each chapter like a tool in your hand, reach for the one you need, and keep building. Remember, discipline does not come from willpower. It comes from clarity, from systems, and from the quiet daily decision to become, one action at a time, the person you already know you can be. Begin, even when you do not feel like it. Return, even when you have missed. Design, even when it feels small. And most of all, remember that every great life was built one ordinary, disciplined day at a time. Today is one of those days. Thank you for listening. Let's grow together.